You think thunder gods are heroes. Wrong. Zeus uses lightning to rule. Thor uses it to protect. But China's thunder god? He uses it to judge you. If that line made you uncomfortable, good. Because thunder in mythology isn't just weather. Thunder is authority. Thunder is war. Thunder is punishment. And when you put the three biggest names of the sky into one arena, Zeus, Thor, and Zeus, what you're really asking isn't, who throws the brightest lightning? You're asking, whose lightning is the most unstoppable form of power? Now, before the comment section explodes, yes. These gods come from different worlds with different rules. That's exactly why this matchup is terrifying. In one universe, thunder is a king's signature. In another, thunder is a frontline weapon. In another, thunder is a court verdict. So tonight, we're doing a power battle, but we're doing it intelligently. Not, my childhood god beats your childhood god. We're going to judge them through 4 rounds, each one designed to test a different kind of strength. Round 1, raw destruction. Who can erase the most? Round 2, combat dominance. Who wins when it's close range and personal? Round 3, authority hacks. Who can win without even fighting? Round 4, final scenario. 1 battlefield, 1 outcome, 1 winner. And at the end, I'll give you the verdict, and it might not be the one you want. Zeus enters first, and he doesn't enter like a warrior. He enters like a ruler. In Greek myth, Zeus is not just the thunder guy. Zeus is the sky's CEO, the throne, the one who ended the Age of Titans and rewrote the power structure of the universe. His lightning isn't a tool he found, it's a weapon that represents legitimacy. When Zeus throws a thunderbolt, it's not a punch, it's an executive decision. You don't argue with it, you don't block it, you don't tank it. The bolt is the point. Thor enters second, and the air changes completely. Thor is not a cosmic politician. Thor is a walking disaster prevention system. In Norse myth, the universe is under constant threat from forces that want to eat it. Giants, monsters, chaos itself. Thor is the thing that keeps reality from collapsing by doing the simplest job imaginable. Show up and hit the problem until it stops moving. And then comes the third figure, the one that most Western audiences underestimate because they don't know how he functions. Zeus, the thunder ancestor, often identified with the terrifyingly long title, Jiutian Yingyuan Leisheng Puhua Tianzun, the heavenly worthy of the thunder sound who transforms by universalization. Translation, this isn't a guy with lightning. This is a divine office, a system, a judge. Zeus doesn't exist to win battles for fun. He exists to enforce the laws of heaven. Which sounds less exciting until you realize what a judge is in a universe where the judge controls thunder. Because in that kind of world, thunder doesn't strike randomly. It strikes like a verdict. All right, round 1. Round 1, raw destruction. If we're measuring pure destructive output, how much can you blow up? Thor looks like the obvious pick at first. Thor has the vibe of a god who solves problems by turning them into craters. He fights giants like it's cardio. His hammer, Mjolnir, is basically the ultimate demolition tool. It comes back, it hits like a meteor, and it's built for war in a world where war never ends. Thor is the kind of god who doesn't just defeat a monster, he makes sure the monster's great-grandchildren feel it. But Zeus has something even scarier, the scale. Zeus's lightning isn't described as a big electrical attack. It's described as a divine weapon that can end divine beings. It's how he defeats titans, cosmic-level entities who are not supposed to be easy to delete. Zeus doesn't just win fights, Zeus ends ages. Thor can wreck a battlefield. Zeus can rewrite who's allowed to exist on the battlefield. Then we look at Zeus, and the comparison gets weird, because his destruction isn't always measured in explosions. His destruction is measured in precision and certainty. Thor's lightning is a storm. Zeus's lightning is a proclamation. Zeus' lightning is an accusation with a sentence attached. If Zeus strikes you, the terror isn't, how big was the blast? The terror is, you were selected, You were judged. You were found guilty. Raw destruction? If you want the biggest, loudest, most cinematic damage, Thor and Zeus dominate the screen. But if you're talking about destruction that you can't escape once it targets you, Zeus starts smiling, and you should not like that. Round 1 verdict. Zeus wins raw cosmic deletion. Thor is the war machine. Zeus is the sniper with a warrant. Round 2. Combat dominance. This is where Thor steps forward like, finally, my language. Thor is built for fighting. He doesn't need a throne. He doesn't need permission. He doesn't need a court. Thor's identity is combat. Giants fear him because he shows up and the situation immediately becomes physical. Thor also has the Norse advantage. His world is brutal. Norse gods don't float above the fight. They bleed, they struggle, they grind through impossible battles. Thor is a veteran in a universe where the end of the world is not a metaphor, it's scheduled. Put Zeus in a cage match and Zeus is still terrifying, but not for the same reasons. Zeus's strength is overwhelming, but he often operates like a commander. He doesn't just punch, he commands forces. He wins with authority and weaponry, yes, but also with status. Zeus is the kind of fighter who can end you, and also legally declare that you were never allowed to challenge him in the first place. Zeus in close combat is the biggest question mark to many viewers because he's not depicted like a brawler. He's depicted like a divine official, an enforcer of heaven's thunder department. So if you force Zeus into pure fist and hammer combat, Thor likely has the edge. That's Thor's arena. Thor lives there. But here's the trick. Zeus doesn't have to accept your rules, and Zeus definitely doesn't. If this is truly combat dominance, we have to ask, does the fight ever stay close combat when 2 of the 3 fighters can turn the sky itself into a weapon? Thor has the best hands. Zeus has the best throne-backed firepower. Zeus has the best paperwork in the universe. And we're about to see why that matters more than muscles. Round 2 verdict. If it's a straight brawl, Thor. But if the fight is allowed to become mythological warfare, Thor's advantage shrinks fast. Round 3. Authority hacks. This is the round people forget. Everyone loves big hits. Nobody respects the ability to win without swinging. Zeus is terrifying here. Zeus isn't just powerful. He's the one who decides what power means in his world. He sits at the top of a divine hierarchy. In myths, gods and mortals respond to Zeus not just because he's strong, but because he's the structure. He's the king of gods. He has alliances. He has cosmic legitimacy. In modern gamer terms, Zeus doesn't just have high stats. Zeus has admin privileges. But Zeus is something different. Zeus is not a king. He is not a warrior. He is a judge. And that means his power doesn't always manifest as more lightning. It manifests as the right to punish. Think about how horrifying that is. A warrior has to beat you. A king has to dominate you. A judge only has to declare something about you, and the universe enforces it. Zeus represents a thunder bureaucracy, an enforcement arm of heaven. In that worldview, lightning is not random. Lightning is targeted consequence. So here's the question. Can Thor or Zeus resist being judged? Thor's power is protection, but protection from what? From physical threats, giants, monsters, armies. Zeus's power is kingship, but kingship of what? Of his pantheon, of his cosmic order. Zeus's power is moral enforcement, cosmic law. And cosmic law doesn't care if you're buff. Now, to be fair, Zeus also deals in law and order in his own way. But Zeus's law is often the law of the ruler. He makes the rules. He changes the rules. He sometimes breaks his own rules and still wins because he's Zeus. Zeus's law is more like an institution, a system that continues, a mandate, an office. It's less, I do what I want, and more, heaven's rule is absolute. So round 3 becomes the most terrifying kind of fight, not lightning versus lightning, but authority versus authority. If Zeus can declare himself above judgment, he can ignore Zeus's verdict. If Zeus's judgment is rooted in a higher, heavenly order, then Zeus's ego doesn't matter. A verdict lands anyway. And Thor? Thor is the one guy here who might refuse the entire concept. Thor doesn't care about your court. Thor cares about whether you can stop his hammer. But the universe might stop it for him. Round 3 verdict. Zeus wins the hacks round, because judgment is the strongest form of power when the world obeys it. Round 4. The final scenario. All right, one battlefield, one sky, no excuses. The arena is a shattered mountaintop, high enough that the clouds are below you. The air is electric. The ground is cracked like ancient stone has been punched from the inside. The kind of place where myths are born. Thor arrives first and does what Thor always does. He moves forward. Zeus doesn't rush. He rises. Thunder gathers around him like a royal cloak. He doesn't need to chase. He's the sky. Zeus doesn't posture. He observes. And that's the first chilling sign. Because when a warrior is confident, he lifts his weapon. When a king is confident, he sits higher. When a judge is confident, he looks at you like the outcome has already been written. The fight begins with Thor launching. Mjolnir becomes a comet, straight for Zeus. Zeus answers with a thunderbolt that splits the sky like a command. The impact is not just loud, it's mythic. The air shatters into light. The mountain screams. Thor lands, slides, stands again, because Thor is built to keep standing. He doesn't stop after one strike. He becomes a rhythm. Hammer, storm, hammer, storm. Zeus counters like a ruler. He doesn't trade blows. He ends exchanges. Every bolt is a statement. Enough. And for a moment, it looks like the classic debate. Thor's unstoppable aggression versus Zeus's cosmic authority. Then Zeus moves. Not with a scream, not with a swing, with a decision. The thunder changes. It stops being chaotic and becomes precise. A single strike lands, not on the ground, not as collateral, but as a targeted sentence. And suddenly the fight stops being about who hits harder and becomes about who can keep fighting under judgment. Thor looks up, confused, angry, ready to swing at the sky itself. Zeus, for the first time, looks insulted. Because if Zeus is the king, then who is this that dares to judge? Zeus' presence forces the question none of them want to face. Are you above consequence? Thor tries to brute force it. Thor always does. He throws himself at Zeus like a storm given a body. But Zeus isn't standing there to be hit. Zeus is enforcing. Lightning strikes aren't just attacks now. They are restraints, interruptions, a denial of action. You raise a weapon and the sky says, no. Zeus tries the opposite, dominance. He declares himself supreme. He floods the sky with royal thunder, attempting to overwhelm the very idea of an external verdict. And here's where the final winner depends on one terrifying detail. Whose order is higher? If this is a battlefield where Zeus's kingship defines reality, Zeus eventually overwhelms both. Not because he fights best, but because his authority becomes law. But if this is a battlefield where Zeus' judgment is rooted in a larger heavenly mandate, where thunder is an instrument of cosmic morality, then Zeus is powerful, but still accountable. And Thor is strong, but still punishable. In a true mythological crossover, the scariest outcome is that Thor and Zeus are both forced into the same position mortals occupy in Zeus' world. You are not arguing with lightning. You are being sentenced by it. So who wins? Let's be honest and brutal. If we judge by pure who would win a flashy anime fight, you can make the case for Zeus. Kingship plus world-ending thunderbolts is hard to top. If we judge by who dominates in close combat, Thor is the most consistent fighter in the room. But if we judge by the most terrifying definition of strength, the ability to end the fight by defining the rules of the fight, then Zeus becomes the dark horse. Because the strongest power isn't throwing lightning. The strongest power is deciding who lightning is allowed to strike. Final verdict, power battle winner by raw supremacy, Zeus. Winner by pure combat grind, Thor. Winner by unstoppable system power, Zeus. And now I'm going to do the thing that makes people comment like their life depends on it. If you were forced to pick one to face, would you rather face Zeus the king, Thor the warrior, or Zeus the judge? Because one might kill you in battle, one might erase you for challenging him, but one might punish you for who you are. Drop your answer in the comments and tell me which culture's thunder is the scariest. And if you want part 2, we go darker. Top 3 underworld judges. Who decides your fate after death?